Johnson. Hello, this is Art Johnson with New World Communications, and welcome to YouTube Live and introducing you to YouTube Live as a vehicle for helping you grow your business. I'm with New World Communications. I'm here in Bothell, Washington. With New World Communications, I've been working with advanced technology for decades. The most recent has been over the last almost 20 years with my company, New World Communications, at www.newworldcom.com, which I invite you to. The main deal is that the reason why I wanted today is to have that kind of conversation, or at least open up that conversation. And this was a quick notice, so I'm not expecting a lot of people to necessarily see this in real time, but this is being recorded right now on YouTube, which is a real benefit here. I've also been doing some experimenting with my state-of-the-art Android smartphone. This is a Samsung S6. The newer one is the S7, and they have a Note 7. And there is some amazing technology with these that also do live broadcasts. So what it really means is, I guess the question is, why is this, what impact will this have on your business potentially if you elect to seize YouTube, if you understand the power of YouTube for growing your business, first of all. And I want to kind of really connect with where you're at with this whole thing. I know that, you'd have to be sleepwalking for you weren't aware in some way of YouTube and some of its power. But what my experience has been is, though this is potentially a really powerful thing, you haven't taken advantage of it. Maybe it's because, a number of different things. One of the things that why I'm taking advantage of it is I have a broadcast background. And I've been in every decade of television, way back. This will date me a little bit, but way back. In every phase of the development of television, from the expansion of television, from VHF, from VHF to UHF and to cable, and then with the internet, particularly with YouTube as of 2004, I believe, or 2005. When Google bought YouTube, I've been seeing a huge opportunity and actually working on developing that huge opportunity, looking at YouTube not as just video, not as just consumer stuff and, puppies and dogs and, poorly done content, but as a powerful television tool. If you really think about it, if you connect all the dots, you'll see that YouTube is really a television phenomenon, and it's all going that way. And so I want to talk about that, and talk about that as long as you want to, chat with me or whatever. I'm going to, open up a chat window here and I'll be able to chat with you here in real time, and hopefully you can go and see this on the player too, because this actually invited you to the YouTube player, where there is actually a chat window there that will allow you to chat with people and stuff. So anyway, I want to just kind of back up a little bit and just talk about, I think the most understanding will be kind of a why. I'm going to give you a little bit of my backstory. I came out of UC Berkeley as a child of the civil rights, and a child looking at the whole development, big changes happening in the world. We used to call the third world and the first world, and many things have happened. So when I came out, I got my degree in political science. I got a master's degree in political theory. I was interested in contemporary political theory and applying that to do big change. And so the opportunity that opened up for me was to start teaching politics and ethnic studies at the College of San Mateo in the Bay Area. And in that, I discovered, because I had a kind of a background already in you know, I had a background and been exposed to TV all my life since the first TV set my dad brought home, to watching big changes happen across the nation with civil rights and all kinds of things that occurred that kind of raised people's consciousness, and watching rock and roll and all that. I really got to look at television as a medium that increasingly became more and more accessible to me. And so while I was teaching, I had access to the whole media center. So I started checking out things, and that was the time when Sony was just coming out with new technology that was not broadcast. It was called broadcast industrial technology that schools could buy and small businesses could buy. And it was about a quarter of much less expensive than the broadcast cameras, the big cameras that you still see with broadcasters using. But this was, Sony looked at this and said, and Panasonic, JVC, and some of the other big companies said, wow, now that we have all these channels, we have 4 times the audience, 4 times the production audience. And so we can probably, let's look at our manufacturing, let's figure out a way, instead of hand building these cameras that cost $35,000, let's start, you know, with 4 times as big a market. Let's see if we can come up with a camera that costs maybe $10,000 that does pretty much the same stuff as broadcast cameras. And this started a whole trend of looking at, and there was electronic film production. Ikegami had introduced this first big camera that would get out into the field instead of being in a remote truck and stuff. There were long cables that went back to a kind of a big EFP truck. You still see these big trucks there. There's still a need for that. But what that did is it started a trend towards smaller and smaller cameras and more accessibility and more users. And somewhere in the middle of that, this was all analog video, the digital revolution hit. It first showed up in television as digital time-based correction. We had, basically we had cameras and everything that were using mechanical tape. And if you know anything about the way that tape runs and tape motors, when they are fluctuate in time, and every time the little fluctuation in time of the head will throw off the signal and make it all jaggy and throw off what we call the time base. And so the first boxes came out were looking at, were called TBCs, or digital time-based correctors, that would then look at the analog signal coming in, reshape it, and spit it back out as an analog signal. So it would be the analog to digital to analog conversion, and so that the quality would look better. We also had a lot of generation loss, because when we recorded first time on a tape and we then made a copy of that, that would introduce more noise and be fuzzier, and so you got 3rd generation down, stuff looked pretty fuzzy. And then when digital happened, and this came along hand in hand with new boards, new digital processing boards. So where for me is, I ended up getting a job. I left teaching because I couldn't make enough money, and I literally became a broadcast system sales engineer and sold this new broadcast industrial television equipment used to counties and municipal government. And at that time, there was with the changing in the policy there, cities own the right of way to get to homes. And so cable television had to make concessions in order to get to those home accounts and charge them for the residential internet, residential cable TV service at that time. And so as a concession, they created what they call PEG channels, public access, education, and government. Those are the cable channels you still see. And they gave a little bit of money to make what we call public access studios. These were studios that used that kind of gear that you could get in line for, but you could actually, this was a really important medium, a first step for you to start to develop television literacy. And so what happened was, you had the cable channels, and so more literacy happened. So the literate people went on. I never produced that, but I sold those systems, and so things started to continue. Then the computer graphics revolution hit. I had taught myself using the Apple computer, and there were some other third-party computers that came out that put out video quality, put out video signals. One was called, I think it was called the Mindset computer. It was a kind of gorgeous little computer. It didn't go long. And then there was the Atari, and then there was the toaster, and all these different ways to start to use digital video. And then that hand in hand with that would be a way to edit video in a non-linear way, meaning that you could have multiple sources, you could have digital sources, and you could mix them. Now we assume that, we just take that for granted. Now, I'm working with technology. Here's my cell phone, right? I'm now able, using this smartphone, to shoot in HD, high definition quality, and edit completely and render and send it not to somebody else's channel, but to my own YouTube channel. And you are probably walking around right now with your own HD capable smartphone. Every smartphone, newer one, has HD quality in it. So what does this mean? Well, it doesn't stop. What it does mean is happening so fast that you may not have, even though you're about using YouTube video, that you haven't really caught up with it. You haven't really seized it, or if you tried it, you did maybe 1 or 2 videos, you said, oh wow, and you may be freaked out by being on TV. Even though you see this huge opportunity, it's kind of intimidating. I mean, YouTube is huge. We're not talking about just reaching a few viewers here. This is a huge, huge opportunity. This is a global opportunity for you as a small business person. And just starting by producing it with your cell phone and then doing the YouTube is the beginning. And then, and that went on and just kind of doing that, and that really started to really evolve in the last 2 years because cell phones got better and smarter. I'm using a state-of-the-art Samsung S6, and the quality is, I went through all these cameras and stuff. I had broadcast cameras I sold, and then when the first accessible HD camera came out, it was the flip video camera. Remember that little thing that looked like a little camera? And I worked with that, and Kodak came out with another one and all that. And then that stuff got discontinued because they saw the handwriting on the wall that cell phone, everything and more that the just camcorder would do. And so now we have the further evolution of that. As of 2011, you had social networks here, Facebook here, and LinkedIn there. But Google did something really remarkable. They caught a lot of hell for it. And they're still, a lot of camps are still saying, whoa, what about Google? But Google came out with Google Plus, and embedded in Google Plus was a tight integration with being able to do live webcasts called Hangouts on Air. And Hangouts on Air existed until just about 2 days ago. It's actually transitioning now to YouTube Live. At the same time, YouTube Live has been there for a while, but Google has been developing. And one of the things that you'll notice here, and this is what this will talk about, is a certain attitude and a certain mentality that I'm helping. A lot of this, and you being able to seize this, has to do with your mindset, with your consciousness, and understanding that change is what is permanent. That's what's constant. Okay, that's a hard, a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to do YouTube until things settle down. Well, guess what? They will never settle down, and the bus has already left the station, and you are not on it, haven't been on it yet. Okay, so and that has a disadvantage as you look around here, because even though that's happened, you're still maybe on Facebook and you're looking at this and you're kind of drifting here and you're looking there and you're sharing pictures. That's fine. But what about using this technology to grow your business? What about that? What about the idea of you becoming television literate? You becoming so good at this that you actually end up with a program series that really distinguishes you, that breaks you, apart from all the other little small businesses, or even all the other government agencies that are just kind of pushing paper along and just kind of doing business as usual. When because you've got challenges that even your government is saying, we've got, we're here in 2016, but by 2030 we got to be in a different place, and we got to, in order to get there, we have to think differently, we have to act differently. And I see YouTube is a really, really powerful way of helping you get there, if you can get the help that you need. Not to wait. You can't keep on waiting and not doing anything. You need to have somebody or some institution or some business that can help you fast track. And that's what I'm about. That's what New World Communications is. And it's interesting. There's a really nice way of approaching this, and I teach this. So basically, the simple thing about my company is I learn it to turn around and teach it, communicate it first, and to educate that. So I walk on these two legs. On one leg, I'm a 21st century communicator using web and just about every web-based communications medium, including YouTube television. That's the one hand, that's the communications. Then on the other hand, we're doing 21st century learning. I'm an educator, and I see a really, really, really important change happening in the marketplace that is going to change all institutions of business and learning. And where most corporations or enterprises, government, have been used to doing kind of top-down kind of stuff, top-down learning, top-down programs. If you're not sensitive, you don't have a way to also communicate with who you're offering them to, you may miss the mark, and that can cost you, really can cost your job. if nobody's using your program, or you're not getting as much benefit, or your people are not performing the way they need to perform in order to justify this money that is being spent every day on their salary and on your salary. I don't do that. I mean, everything I have to do, every little dollar that I make has to be earned your respect by showing you what I know, sharing with you what I know, by essentially giving you snippets and bits and pieces of what I know that can help you get where you need to go. So anyway, one of the things that I want to talk about with this is, I'm introducing you to, let's just talk about this live, YouTube Live. What it allows you to do is, with a YouTube account, and if you're verified and you're legal, you haven't, had a lot of, you haven't had any, any warnings or anything, you're in good standing, that you follow the license, you're not using somebody else's stuff, you're doing original content, all of that kind of thing. With that right, you have a right to use YouTube Live. And there, you can actually become, we haven't done that yet, you can become a YouTube content creator. And of course, they want to insert ads if you do that and all that, but it'll also let you monetize your content in different ways. You can also do fundraising. If you're a nonprofit or you're working with a nonprofit, you might work for the government, but you might be affiliated with a nonprofit, or in your personal life, or doing work for nonprofits. This will be a great way to fundraise, to do crowdsource funding that's, you know, based on you serving people well. This is also a marvelous training device. Do you know that most people now, because of shortness, because the internet's always interrupting. The most powerful medium on the internet today is what you're watching right now, YouTube video. 80%. I mean, there's more YouTube video that happens in 1 month than the whole history of broadcast and industrial television, of broadcast and cable television. And so people like to get these, because of their attention spans, these short snippets of valuable information. You know, it's kind of like, you know, learning at the speed of need. I want to find out about this and that. So I go, what do? I go to Google, I do a search, and what pops up is a bunch of YouTube videos. And if they're titled the right way, and if they're really, you know, they have to be produced in a good way. If they speak to my needs and I can get it like I need it, boom, this is going to really help my business move forward. And it's also going to help the entire e-learning industry move forward from a personal development standpoint and a business development standpoint. So I want you to think outside the box. Okay, Johnson's over here talking about television, and you might be a government manager, or you might be doing something. You might have a small business where you have a janitorial service, or you may be a woodworker, or you may be, you know, installing hot tubs, or you know, selling hot tubs or something like that. Or you've got tons of, you know, you have a product, or you have a service, or you have a program that really can help, that you need to develop both internally as well as get the program out if it's outward facing and it serves the public. Well, this vehicle using YouTube is a great vehicle for that. And what's interesting about streaming live is this can go really even on site. Right now I'm using a laptop, I'm using an internet connection, and I'm using a webcam. What I've just noticed is that on my cell phone, and I've been experimenting with this for the last month or so ago, on my cell phone, I have the ability to stream live. And this actually ends up being an event that is saved on YouTube Live. I just discovered that. And, you know, if I turn on my cell phone over here, you just see the cell phone here, but there's a new mode here. Those are the modes, and one of the modes is called live broadcast. Now, not all phones have this, but you can see over here I have a live broadcast in the making here, okay? And, you know, I'll show you, I'm looking at the room here. And what it will do is it'll actually stream right from outside over 4G LTE. And it's actually faster than my internet connection indoors. It's screaming fast. And I went to recently I showed up at a regional contracting forum at the Washington State Convention Center, one of the largest convention center in northern Washington, you know, on the West Coast besides, you know, Las Vegas. And I streamed live for hours right directly to YouTube, and created a playlist of all the people that I interviewed. Think of what this might do for promoting your business. Say for instance, doing an all-day live webathon. Now, I've seen this happen before, you know, a few years ago with some front-runner internet marketers, but they were using now outdated equipment. They were using TriCasters, and they were using more expensive gear than what you need to do that now. So it's just a matter of getting your head, raising your consciousness, working with somebody who can help you move through this in steps that are quality assurable and doable, you know, with some help. And so that's what I'm here to do with New World Communications, is designed to help you fast track this with some courses here. And so one of the courses that we're now morphing because of the changes in with Google and YouTube, is we had a course called Using Google Plus to grow your business. Then that changed to using Hangouts on Air to grow your business, because that was kind of really the focus. But now we're morphing to a new course called Using YouTube Live to grow your business. And we're not trying to miss the mark here. What we're really doing is we're actually meeting online with people face to face, and we're actually using this technology as a virtual focus group, so you can weigh in and tell us what you need so that we can actually tailor fit our offering to speak to your needs. And there are different groups that we're outreaching to. You could be a solopreneur business. A solopreneur business is somebody like me. I work out of my home, or I have a business center, and so I don't have a retail presence. Okay, I don't have a walk-in business as a consultant. I'm a solopreneur. I am a me, myself, and I business that can scale, and I work collaboratively with strategic business partners, so I can scale really to a large enterprise very quickly and bring it back down without that cost. Then there are retail businesses that have a retail presence that are all struggling about how to get more people to come through the door. Well, we could actually do some really cool live events, stream right from your showroom floor, to talk about what's happening, and have do some prizes, and and focus on not only what you offer, but the customers that already love you. And they'll come up, and you can come up to the mic and do all that stuff, and just keep that going. I mean, that can go all day long. And I've seen professional internet marketers do literally millions of dollars in a few hours, offering different offerings, doing seminars, and offering different knowledge products and different things to buy, and different services, and people that had books that they want to promote, and speaking, all kinds of workshops. I mean, this is the new way to go. And this is a great way to get your video outside. They actually streamed, I think they were on the porch, streaming through the porch with the ocean behind them in San Diego. I don't know, I don't want to mention who it was, but I did know that they really did some things. And there are people that are wrapping other technology around YouTube Live that you will see too, that offer additional functionality. But what I'm seeing here is that this alone, it's free, and by taking the course, which ends up being 3 sessions to get you ramped up quickly, to get your mind in the right way, and to give you some skills where you can start to really start doing your own, planning your own webcast. So this is not just doing one event, but I want you to start thinking as a programmer, as someone who does a regular television show on a regular frequent basis. And we'll have people, one of the things you'll see right now is just me here, but this has talking heads that you can actually have right here. You can do global conversations, global roundtable discussions here, which hopefully you'll see us do. We're going to be engaging in a series of critical conversations for a 21st century world. These are really decent conversations, not BS that you see over, this is not about Trump or not about Hillary, but it's about what we need to do as human beings to come together to deal with the things that are important to life on the planet. And climate change is the new war. It's a war, that we're losing because we're not all on the same page to acknowledge what it is, what it's doing to us, what damage it's done, and what it can do if we don't figure out a way to change how we do business, to change how we do things. Now, one of the things that I found is that most of us, even though we've had the web move around, and we occasionally will do a hangout, or we'll use a webcam briefly, we still are pretty much set on a influenced by a physical world mindset, meaning that If we want to meet, then we're going to get in our car or drive a bus or fly in a plane or take a train before we can finally meet with someone. Okay? Now that's just habit, but we have this new technology that keeps getting better and better that allows us to meet face to face with people across the planet, locally, regionally, across the planet, to do things and to organize and to educate and to disseminate information that could make a real change. And it's zero carbon footprint, okay? And getting there and getting back is almost like virtual transportation. I don't want to say that too much because unless people have an experiential reference for what I'm talking about, it's like that I look like, you know, I can see that blankness here. I mean, and this guy is really weird. He's a space cadet. I don't know, stay away. You know, fear comes in. This guy's too weird. But the truth is, my feet are always firmly on the ground as they are right now. But what you're having here is a virtualized or virtual experience. I'm in the physical world, but you're seeing me digitally. You're seeing me. I'm interacting with you. I'm talking to you directly. I'm talking to you wherever you are. And I'm talking to you either in real time if you happen to be watching my screen or on demand. So even if you miss the meeting, you'll see, Johnson, this guy is really, you're the real deal. He's the real deal. I think he can really help me. And I don't have all the answers, but I do know how to ask them. And sometimes asking people the right questions will get them focused down into seeing new opportunities for them by, you know, the right questions. Does it, you know, I'm asking you, you know, if your business is not working now and all you're doing is just a little bit of Facebook and a little bit of a LinkedIn, and that's not even organized, you're doing no YouTube video, do you think, how long do you think you're going to last doing it that way? Is that really the way to best sustain yourself? Really? Be truthful. You know, cop to it. Is it? Okay, well, if it's not, then what about the idea of having someone who cares about you, deeply cares about you, who's another small business person who's gone through some of this, who will work with you to get you where you want and need to go in a 21st century world? Okay? That's what I'm about. And the best way to do that is not a bunch of hype, but to give you really concrete experience that demonstrates exactly what I'm talking about, using the tools, walking the walk, walking the talk, and then you seeing that this guy is really good. And then allowing you to compare that with any other supplier that you might have, any other one. I don't care how much money they have or don't have. I don't care how big they are. Are they doing something as powerful as what I am doing with you right now? Ask you that question, okay? And do you want more of it? Is that something that you think, I mean, look at this. You got a cell phone you're walking around in your purse, in your pocket. You probably have a laptop that has a webcam in the lid, or, you know, I'm using a third-party one. But they're like, I mean, it's just all part of it, okay? You might have a tablet that also has, you probably have 2 or 3 devices that already have webcams, that little hole there. What is that little hole for? It's to get you out there to the world. So I can help you get there. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can say, oh, well, thank you, and then go to the next thing, because, you know, you're distracted. One of the things that I'm really worried about is that the internet is changing your brain, changing my brain, and changing your attention span. I'm going to be really lucky if you're still even watching me now, if you haven't already clicked off, because oh, you know, I didn't get exactly what I needed. Didn't go into. My wife told me. I said, honey, you should look at this new video, and she said to me, yeah, but is it under 3 minutes? Well, that told me something. Okay. So how do you do that? Well, one of the things that I've noticed is there's some really cool people that can really keep you engaged, okay? They'll say, I'm going to give you 5 things that you should know about, 5 things that you should know about. And so they set you up. So you're going to wait until you see the first one, and then you're going to wait until you see the second one, and you work until you see the third one and the fourth one, and then there's the 5th one, and then there's an offer. Pretty smart. So there are different ways to engage, but you do at each point, you have to give meaningful, valuable information to people that they care about, that will, I guess, learning at the speed of need, okay? Things that are going to help them right now, get them where they need to go. And one of those vehicles is definitely YouTube video. So anyway, that's it. What we're talking about, if you just came in later, is YouTube Live. It's a new phenomenon that adds even more value to the YouTube platform, which is amazing. This YouTube, by the way, goes all the way to your home TV set with the new smart TVs, or even if you have an older TV, you can buy a device called a Chromecast. This looks like a little, almost like a jump drive that you can stick in your back of your TV, and you can actually send right from what they call cast, right from your smartphone or your laptop right to your TV set. And the TV could be in a boardroom, be in a corporate boardroom or a training room. It could be the screen that you're watching right now. It could be on your smartphone. So think about the power, the potential power, if you're using the tool in a creative, innovative way. If you don't, then one tool, it's all space junk, okay? And many of you have missed many opportunities. Your website is funky. You're not updating it. There's managing your accounts, developing your audience. There's a whole new suite of things that you need help with. And if you try to do them, I've taken years to acquire this and acquire that, but I can leverage that very quickly to kind of introduce you to. I'm working with amazing stuff that allows me to, send out a bunch of emails and to do blogging and to use. Here's the cool thing about YouTube. YouTube is the way to make sense out of your social media marketing program, because you can basically plan your series of programs and then share them over these social platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those, without having to drift. And if people really like them, they'll respond to you. So anyway, that's it. I want you to communicate with me. You'll see this video. Please look down there where it says the text, and send me a text and let me know about you. Let me know where you're at in this whole process, what you're thinking about. I will really be really nice. I will not try to pitch you sales-wise. I'll just really want to listen to you and find out where where you want to go, and what initiatives you're taking to try to get there. You own this stuff. You might have a video camera. I don't really care, as long as you're starting to use it to get somewhere with it. So thank you so much, and for watching my webcast. And I look forward to working with you. That's Art Johnson at New World Communications, www.newworldcom.com. My telephone number is 206-920-8067. My email address is artatnwc@gmail.com. And I look forward to working with you. Take it easy and stand by.